Did the coronavirus pandemic deliver the perma bears the US house prices crash that they have been crying so loudly for over a decade now? Firstly, a recap of my existing US house prices trend forecast as of April 2019, which forecast a rise in the Case-Shiller index from 225.9 to 232.4 as of January 2021 data. And here is the updated chart for what has transpired since my forecast of April 2019. So whilst the US stock market had a panic attack into mid-March, the crash where the US house prices are concerned was upwards, which should not have come as much surprise to those who have been following my analysis for the past 10 years, i.e. money printing on an epic scale. When you know the Fed is about to print a shitload of money, whatever they call it, will mean that assets that cannot be easily printed will surge higher in price. This is the inflation megatrend in action. The primary megatrend is the inflation megatrend. Those who bet against it on hopes of a repeat of the 1930s depression will keep going broke. That's if they put their money where their mouth is. The inflation megatrend, QE4EVER. A reminder, folks, that regardless of Fed propaganda and what you read in the mainstream press, QE is forever. Once it starts, it will not stop, as I've been iterating for a decade now, as the following excerpt from 2 years ago illustrates, that crises are money printing events to capitalize upon by investing in assets that are leveraged to inflation. All whilst clueless fools that populate the mainstream press and blogosphere, who probably never put their money where their mouths are, continue to bang the drums of non-existent deflation. As I stated in my opening line in my January 2010 Inflation Megatrend ebook, the world's economies swim in an ocean of inflation that is punctuated by occasional ripples of deflation, which is illustrated by a perpetual upward curve of general prices as measured by the CPI. Inflation in the long run impacts on virtually all commodities and asset prices. And here's the current state of the Fed balance sheet that's looking pretty parabolic to me, like pouring rocket fuel onto the inflation fire. At the end of the day, the money printing induced inflation megatrend is the primary megatrend that people really need to be aware of and focused on so as to leverage themselves to this megatrend's consequences, which is the loss of purchasing power of currencies, which is why savings should not be viewed as long-term holdings and why the likes of housing should. To further illustrate this point, since the Federal Reserve Bank came into being in 1913, the US dollar has lost over 96% of its value. Price inflation, which is why you need to hedge or leverage yourselves to money printing inflation. This is what the world central banks do at every crisis. Print more money and that causes real inflation, where my recent video gave a taste of real inflation when it comes to day-to-day shopping in the UK. This video is an excerpt from my recent extensive in-depth analysis that concludes in a detailed trend forecast for US house prices into 2022. The whole of which was first made available to patrons who support my work. So for immediate first access to all of my analysis and trend forecasts, then do consider becoming a patron by supporting my work for just $3 per month, with my most recent analysis concluding in a detailed trend forecast for the stock market for 2021. And my schedule of analysis includes a major update on which AI stocks to invest in for 2021 and beyond, a look at the prospects for UK house prices, a Bitcoin trend forecast update for 2021, not forgetting that my last forecast to buy Bitcoin at under 10k, and a piece on how to get started on getting rich, how to actually get rich, and then an update for the prospects for the US dollar and sterling, as the British pound has now fulfilled my long-standing target of reaching 1.4 to the dollar, or $1.4 to the pound, should I say. And do remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel for new videos.
Back shell set.
Current velocity is 83 meters per second at about 2.6 kilometers from the surface of Mars. We have confirmation that the back shell has separated. We are currently performing the divert maneuver. Current velocity is about 75 meters per second at an altitude of about a kilometer off the surface of Mars.
Here in safety Bravo.
We have completed our terrain relative navigation. Current speed is about 30 meters per second, altitude of about 300 meters off the surface of Mars. We have started our constant velocity accordion, which means we are conducting the sky crane, about to conduct the sky crane maneuver. Sky crane maneuver has started, about 20 meters off the surface.
We're getting signals from MRO. Tango Delta.
Touchdown confirmed. Perseverance safely on the surface of Mars, ready to begin seeking the sands of past life.